I'd like to bring us back to order. We'll now go on to our next committee. It's the Lake Whatcom and Natural Resources Committee, and it's chaired by Council Member Dan Hamill.
Thank you. I'm joined today by Council Members Knudsen and Borneman on this committee. And we have one item before us. It's for information only, and this is regarding participation in Puget Sound Energy's Green Direct program. I'm just going to read the summary statement here, get us all oriented. Green Direct is a new energy program for municipal customers that allows for purchase of renewable energy from a new wind farm via Puget Sound Energy. Currently, the city purchases renewable energy credits to offset carbon emissions from municipal electric and energy use. The cost of these credits is in addition to the city's annual energy bill. The program provides the city with the opportunity to support construction of renewable energy, establish utility billing rates for up to 20 years, and extinguish the need to purchase the credits since all city electricity will be from a renewable energy source. The Green Direct program requires a commitment at this time, and the wind farm is anticipated to come online in 2019. And here to take us through are Ted Carlson and Renee LaCroix.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. The summary statement, I think, did a nice job of laying out what this item is all about. We've touched on the PSC's Green Direct program briefly a couple times in the past. Most recently when we came back and had council take some action on the resolution that identified that the city will be buying green power for all of our municipal electrical needs. And we've been working with PSC. I'll turn it over to Renee. She's been spending a lot of time working with PSC staff on exactly what this program entails and how we'll work with the city. So I'll let her walk through what she's found out.
Good afternoon, Renee LaCroix, Public Works. So PSC has a new a green power program that became available last October, I believe. There's a new schedule called Schedule 139, and in that, thank you, I'm a notoriously quiet speaker, so thank you. In the rate schedule, it allows for industrial and municipal entities to sign on to the program for time commitments ranging from 15 to 20 years. And the idea is that you sign on to the program and that you sign on at roughly a higher rate than we're paying now. So it's approximately 5% more than the conventional power rate, but it comes with a 4% credit as well. So the net increase to the city is roughly 4%. And PSC takes that premium and leverages it to contract with a developer for a wind farm. And so this is a new wind farm in Thurston and Lewiston counties. And right now we're looking at committing for about 20 years. That's if the power market increases at roughly 2.5% annually, we'll come out ahead if we commit to 20 years. The city uses about 21 million kilowatt hours annually at a cost of about $2.8 million. And like I said, we're recommending a 20-year commitment. The program is consistent with the resolution, the Green Power resolution that the council passed. It was originally resolution 2006-28, and it was recently amended in 2017. And the agreement provides the city opportunity to do several things, to support construction of renewable energy, to establish utility billing rates for up to 20 years, and reduce the need to purchase renewable energy credits in the future. And as I mentioned, it's open to municipal and industrial customers. And so far, Starbucks, REI, Target, Anacortes, Bellevue, Mercer Island, Snoqualmie, and Western have all signed on to the program. We met with staff from Western and Joel Swisher, who I think came to council a couple of weeks ago to talk about the Energy Institute. So picked the brains of the Western staff through their sustainability program and also through Dr. Swisher. Got great feedback from them and the analysis that they did. And we feel like it's a really good fit for the city, and it meets the city's green power energy goals as well. And we also have staff from PSC here, Lynn Murphy and Heather Mulligan, if you'd like to ask them any questions in addition to staff.
Okay. Committee members, questions? Council members, Michael Liquist.
Renee, I agree. This does sound like a really good fit for the city. I just have kind of a specific question. You mentioned that the Green Direct comes at a 5% higher rate, but there was an offsetting credit. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand the credit part.
So I think this is a good question for PSC to answer. So my basic understanding of it is that the rate that the city would pay, like I said, is roughly 5% higher than the conventional market rate, but PSC, there's a certain percentage of our energy costs that are not related to green power, and so that's what we would be credited back for.
Hi, Heather Mulligan with Puget Sound Energy. So yes, there would be a credit back to the city. That will change over time, but what it reflects is the energy-related power costs embedded in the rate. So it represents all of our portfolio of the portfolio of power resources in the traditional resource portfolio. So the wind that already exists, the hydro, natural gas, coal, anything that we buy on the market, all those contracts that we have in place or systems that we own and operate, that all represents the energy-related power cost portion of your rate embedded. So we feel that if you are paying to get wind, you should be credited for that portfolio of energy you are no longer using. And so that number will change over time. The given will be what you are paying for the wind. That's the contracted and predictable price that you receive for the 10, 15, or 20-year term.
I see. So we're still being then charged for what might be the kind of the overall operational aspects of PSE's service.
The poles
its distribution
and the wires,
system,
yes.
all that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Other council members? Councilmember Barker.
What have we looked at what we think that cost, that 5% more would be? And I'm imagining you looked at that and then tried to determine what other investments would look like for the city, and then this one came out ahead.
Yeah, Renee's done quite a bit of analysis on it. If you look at the marginal increase in this program, but also include the fact that we would not be buying renewable energy credits on the open market, it's very close to a wash. So even though we're paying a little bit more for the electricity, we're not having to buy renewable energy credits. We're pretty close. And then if you assume a 2.5% increase in power moving on, something in that neighborhood, it's very close to what we pay now.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I just think the part of that I was interested in is in looking at that. I'm assuming you were looking at several different things when you were talking to Western, and then this one came out ahead. Was there any other things you were looking at?
Other green power programs?
Yeah, why you settled on this particular one?
This is the only one of its type offered right now.
Yeah. What?
And we do purchase, so right now we purchase 100% of our energy using renewable energy credits, but this is a program that allows us to invest in wind up front, and so it allows us to essentially be a part of increasing the wind market. So the renewable energy credits is a back-end transaction, and it can be considered a paper transaction where you're not really contributing to the overall market, and so this is more attractive for that reason alone. And I did want to add, this is a program that starts in 2019. The wind farm isn't actually constructed yet, and so for the next 2 years, we would continue to buy renewable energy credits, and then when the wind farm comes online, then we would see that reflected in our bills.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm completely supportive of this. I'm interested in, as I learn more about these things we can, and I know that we've given direction on renewable energy, but in looking and comparing things across, like doing more local contracting so people aren't coming from so far. It's not apples and apples, but do we have a higher look where we try to figure out what is the best means to lower our carbon footprint? Or, because I'm kind of new in this role.
We do.
Okay.
And thank you for asking that question. We have a climate action plan that was last updated in 2007, and staff are working really diligently to bring that to council, I would hope, in the next few months. And in that plan, it looks at our entire carbon footprint and how we can do things better as a municipality to lower our carbon footprint.
Sorry, that helps us kind of weigh in situations like this. This would be our biggest bang for the buck without having a better analogy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Councilmember Murphy.
Just to refer you, Councilmember, there's a whole section of our website, I know because I was just looking at it the other day, that goes over this whole plan, and I'm looking forward to updating it too.
Yeah, So I was certainly looking at that, but we just recently did a retreat with the Sustainable Connections and talking about like regional systems, and sometimes we can have larger impacts in different places that we maybe didn't because we're looking at apples to apples. So that's where I was interested in. I think it would be great to have that overall look and then even look deeper each time we think about it, where we might not have thought about if you do an emphasis on local contracting, or not having materials coming from so far, or policies that could influence that versus green energy. Like, what are the impacts, and why would we go one route versus the other? So I just found it really interesting, and I hadn't really thought of that in that same way, which was great being a liaison for Sustainable Connections.
Okay, any other questions from council members? Okay, this was for information only and end of committee.